let me invite our first speaker here. I hope you all know him. By the way, so I don't think he need to be really introduced. So first participant of our panel discussion, which name is This is Fine, is Evgeny Borisov. Hi, Zhenya. Welcome to Javon.
Hi guys. I put your t-shirts from the previous one.
That's nice. Nice to see it. Evgeny is not the first time on our conference, and I think everyone remembers his talk, which lasts not less than 4 hours. Yeah, quite epic.
Today it will be more, right? More.
Well, we put this panel discussion in the agenda. So first in the agenda. So we have pretty tough schedules. So yeah, probably we don't have time for like 4 hours. Okay, so our next participant is mostly joining the conversation. So let me invite him as well. This is a speaker who already was on Javon on day one and told us a lot about AI usage. So this is Yevgen Mospan. Yevgen, welcome again to Javon.
Hello, guys. Hello, Roma. Hello, Evgeny. Nice to meet you one more time. Nice to see you.
Yes, nice to see you as always. So, guys, this is kind of experiment. We never made panel discussion on our conference, so this would be really first time we try to do something like this. So, I do encourage all of you to be participants of this discussion, not only to listen what we will talk about, but also to really participate. So, we will discuss some topics. We will, of course, prepare them, and I want you to ask questions. So, we have chats. We have chat on YouTube. We have chat on We Are Community platform. So please post your thoughts, your messages, your questions to these chats, and we will discuss them, right? We will bring them into the air and discuss them on this panel. So yeah, be participant of the discussion, not only passive one. And yeah, to start, we have this picture. So basically, I think you can guess the famous meme. So this is basically the topic of our discussion. And to start with, first question. So AI now, right? So where are we? What we do with this? How we use it? So where are we and AI right now? And Yevgen Mospan, I think first word I will give to you. So can you share with us?
Hmm. Let's probably clarify what we want to hear. Where are we with AI right now?
I don't know. Like AI appeared in our life around 1 year ago. I mean, really appeared in our life. So no, I think almost 2 years, right?
2 years.
So it was 2022.
It
Yeah.
was
So
like
almost
October to 2022, I believe.
yeah. So 2 years. So 2 years.
Yeah.
For 2 years, AI is with us right now, right here. I mean, everyone is speaking about that. Everyone using it. But question is, so are we really everyone using it? I mean, everyone around us. Are we really with it everywhere?
Uh, I don't think so at the moment because it is still something that remains a tool for those who want to be more productive. Because AI at least what I have understood and basically I was thinking about this from the very beginning. So AI will always make smart people smarter. And in the same time, the same is true for another opposite side. Because with AI, the key challenge which appears is critical thinking, because you need to understand what you see and you need to analyze even more than before. In the same time, you need to understand uh, what really you can solve with AI. And uh, to be really honest, my expectations were much higher how AI will be in our life today. But at the moment, we are still in the process of adopting it. This is how I see it, and this is basically true for business, and this is basically true for engineering, because we can use AI for two major purposes as engineers. We can create business solutions based on it. I mean, Gen AI, not ML. And we can use it for our own internal processes while we are creating the software. So what I was talking about on my talk, during my talk. And actually, I would be more than happy if this adoption will be much wider than it is right now. Evgeny, what do you think?
I look a little bit different on this topic because most of the people which are involved in my activity is about AI games and gamification and how can we engage a lot of people to see on a different angle how can they use LLM. So most of the people who work with me, they are totally different people. They are coming to us with little knowledge, and they see very limited usage of AI. But very soon after working in our team on different techniques, mechanics, game mechanics, now I'll tell about it a little bit more later. We start building new part of AI games, which will be virtual shop of different personages. We call it personages, this kind of assistants. So when people work in the industry, they start looking different on AI and they start trying to do everything with AI, first of all. Yes, I agree that not everything can be done today with AI, and sometimes it even can be worse, but we need at least to try. And we need to try it again and again because things changes very fast. And the concepts which was we were unable to implement yesterday are doable today.
I want to join, by the way. Yeah, guys, I have a problem today because we have two
Please
Evgenys
join, Roman.
on the
Please,
session.
please
So
join.
no, I mean I have a problem that we have two Evgeny on the session, so it will be really hard for me to moderate, but I will try my best. So I want to join Evgeny Borisov in this case because I also agree that we all were really optimistical in the beginning. So in the beginning, it was like, yeah, is here. It will do everything for us. But looks like through time, it changes a bit. And a lot of companies, a lot of organizations blocked promoting the AI and saying like, okay, we don't have regulation, blah, 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 we cannot use it, and something like this. And I feel that some people are really disappointed. Maybe this is the word in AI, because they first thought that it would solve everything for them, but now it seems it's not. Don't you see the same thing? Some kind of disappointment?
Of course, it will not say solve all the things. So
Not
this
yet.
expectation, this expectation was too early, and hopefully never. I mean, really everything, like literally. So of course, it can take a lot. So what is really need to happen with AI, and I guess Evgeny, you will agree with me. It should take lots of routine work and ambiguous work that we need to do as humans when we work with the materials that we already have, and we need to analyze. And that is why, and actually another point is basically when we need to learn something new or to train something new. So in this case, AI really a game changer right now, because in education, the classical like thing is test. So to generate a test, it is really a huge effort. With GenAI, you can do it much easier, and it will be more diverse, and that is why it will be more helpful theoretically. With actually the routine processes that I mentioned, you really need to understand what is your routine. If your routine is arguing with other persons, AI will not solve it. If your routine is basically converting some artifact to another artifact, then it is the case. If your routine is basically to talk to many people in the same way, then AI is the case. So this depends on what your routine are inside the organization and how how deep you understand them, and how much want you to change these routines into something new.
When you say that if your job is arguing with other people, I will not help you, I will doubt it. Why you think so?
I would like to hear how.
Exactly now we developing the new platform of virtual shop, and there we will have 3 types of personages. The first type is avatars of existing people. For example, a couple of minutes before we started this meeting, I saw you wrote in the chat that you are not able to join a little bit earlier because you're speaking with Eli Feldman, and I'm thinking, but I'm speaking with Eli Feldman as well. I'm not talking with the real one. I'm talking with my avatar I created for Eli Feldman. Yes, I asked some guys for today's meeting, and then I compared with the real answer of Eli Feldman. It was very close. So one of the type of personages is avatars of the people. Another type is just can be common personages like my manager, my employee, my neighbor, my wife. And these personages can help us to simulate situations before we go in and arguing with the real people. We can argue with avatars of the people, to make the conversation later on more constructive and not destructive. For example, with my wife, if I'm angry on my wife and I want to say some rude words to her, first of all, I do it to my personage, which is my wife, and then I see the reaction and say, okay, it's a stupid thing to talk about it at all.
This is something that I mentioned when I was talking about training, and AI actually can be a great help here, because we can actually follow the real partner in the game when we can press Control S, save and load, let's say. Because in this case we can really put ourselves into the shoes of other person and see how he will react. And this is a very interesting story. Like sending avatars to the meetings. This is not something new that I heard today, because we have Vadim in our team, who was basically first of all writing the videos himself. Then he decided, okay, I will replace my voice. Then he actually found the avatar and teach it to talk instead of him. And it's only about like 3,000 euros to create your own avatar, and actually it will behave almost like you.
3,000 what?
3,000 euros.
Mm-hmm.
You can create it for yourself.
So just to dive a bit deep into
price for all avatars, or Eli Feldman will be more expensive?
I don't know, so it depends on Eli.
Okay, so Evgeny, you promised us to tell us more about the gamification of the process, and also when you say that you create these personas, so as you call them, personages. So can you tell us more about the process of how it's happening? So what exactly you do? Because I think all of us more or less aware that you can go to ChatGPT and create custom GPT, like with submitting some it's not really system prompt there, but okay, kind of system prompt, but maybe something else is behind that.
Okay, so when I work a lot with ChatGPT, and one of the problems with custom GPT that he forgets things very fast. So I can write the system prompt, but each time I'm spending a lot of time on writing the system prompt, and I prefer to go to some virtual shop where all these personages already exist, and maybe I can just tune them for myself. So if you want to talk a little bit about the architecture, I can do it shortly. So the idea is, let me speak a little bit about the third type of personages. Maybe it will be more interesting for everybody here. The third type is mentors, and we start with some NGEX courses like clean code, and the most popular one, QA with AI. And we create virtual mentors. It's one of the type of the personages. So how actually does it work? Each personage has in system prompt 3 different blocks. The first block is static one. It's about the personage itself. The second block is the personalization part. When you turn on the personage the first time, he goes to the database. This is one of the advantages that we do have database, so we remember everything, each conversation. And the first time, the personage sees that he doesn't have any personalization system prompts. So it means it's the first conversation. So he starts asking questions because what we realize that most of the people today, many people today don't know how to write effectively system prompts. And even if they will be able to ask questions about how they do that, they will not always ask the correct question. So the personage will help them, and according to the type of the personage, he will ask different set of questions. And after he will realize what is his name and what is his language style and other relevant to this personage type things, he will say, okay, I finished configuring myself. You can reconfigure me later on. For example, my personage, which is my wife, started to playing Candy Crush, and we have a lot of issues that she's always playing instead of listening to me. Okay, so I wanted to go to my personage and reconfigure and say, oh, now you have additional feature. You playing 4 hours per day Candy Crush, and this is very annoying. Then the personages ask relevant questions to understand what exactly the problems, and then he said, okay, my system prompt reconfigured, my personalization block was updated. So this is the second block, personalization one. And the third one is the current context. For example, I go into virtual mentor after I finished lesson number 3 of JUnit course. And then I ask from this virtual mentor, can you please explain how I use the knowledge I received after the third lesson in my current production project? It's not working for me. Now, what the personage will do? First of all, we send in this request to orchestrator. Orchestrator has the database which filled with a lot of small system prompts. For example, we can take the JUnit course and split it by chapters. And per each chapter, we prepare a system prompt, which is the very good summarization of each chapter. And we create hashtags for each system prompt. So the orchestrator, by the hashtags, can understand which part of the system prompts should be included in this third dynamic block, which is the context of the question. Okay, so it's the question itself, it's maybe the several messages before, and all system prompts we have in the database. Now, the system prompts we have in the database, part of them we prepare before we create the personages, like chapters of the course, and part of the system prompts can be created later on. For example, one of the mentees speak with virtual mentor and explained him about his real project. When the conversation will be finished, he will ask, do you want me to remember something from that? Or maybe he will realize by himself what is important from this conversation. And when this mentee will come the second time with another question about chapter 4, but it will be related to the same project, he will not be needed to explain once again about his project, because he will say, this project we talked in the previous conversation, okay, I found the system, my orchestrator found the system prompt, this summarization. Okay, so it's a little bit different from custom ChatGPT. So we have much more options here. We remember everything in the chat. We have the personalization block, and we save a lot of time for the people to configure such personages. More than that, after you finish the conversation with one of your simulators personages, the thing you can do, you can ask, because you have already the context. So, for example, one of my personages is my angry neighbor, and he second time gated my internet cable. So I just took a picture and sent it to my personage and said, I don't want to explain you what happened again. Look at the picture, try to guess. My personage is the lawyer. So my lawyer says, I understand, AT&T cable was gated again. Your neighbor, okay, what do you want to do? And I want to say, I want to play with my neighbor. I want to go to him and we speak to him and explain him the situation and to require the compensation. So we provided a simulation conversation, and in the end, he gave me the analytics. It's one of the things we learned from our games, because part of the games today we creating has very detailed analysis of the conversation we already had, even by sentence and sentence. This is incorrect. This is mistake. You don't need to say like this. Try to do like this. So after I finished this conversation with my neighbor, he explained what have I done wrong, and then I have all the context, and he says, you know what? Don't go to the real neighbor. Instead of that, you need to write letter to HOA, and then I can ask what is HOA, and he will explain me, and he will write me a letter, and I will send him a letter. And by the way, this is the first time I started doing in my life things related to bureaucracy, to lawyers, and I'm enjoying it because I'm not alone. I have a team of lawyers, which is GPT, and different custom agents.
So, yeah, that's all very interesting. I would say even really interesting to try, interesting to listen about. But question here, and we also have the same question. Sorry, guys, in our chat. So, if we speak about mentor, who prepare a course, right, and where GPT is acting as a mentor. So when I have real mentor, right, I expect this person has real, I mean, the real person, not GPT, has experience, and it could really adapt the course for me, right? So it can explain differently, do stuff. I understand GPT can do it as well. But does really AI can do this adoption for real people each time and really understands that the person does not understand some topic and do this adaptation accordingly? Because a lot of parts of my interaction with even ChatGPT or AIs, it's like you say something, it gives you some response, you say no, it's wrong, and then there is two options. So GPT version 3 and I think 4 says, oh, I'm sorry, here's another response. GPT version 4.0 started saying like, no, you're wrong. And it's really fun to have such interactions because the more clever GPT is, the more the more
Yeah,
stubborn it is.
yeah, Roma. But here, I think that the biggest mismatch is the following. So when I am as a mentor who coached like hundreds of people, want to create my virtual avatar, I exactly know how it should behave because only the expert can create the virtual mentor. And in this case, the person who will be using the mentor, he would probably not do so much configuration that Evgeny explained before, because it's more for the creation of the process rather than for usage of it. Because for the person itself, it should be very easy and straightforward. With mentor, so this is my favorite question that I was getting all these 2 years. What to do if AI is wrong? I'm always saying what to do if human is wrong. Because when we trust some mentor, we just trust him. Because we think that he is smarter than us, that he has more experience than us. Sometimes it is true, sometimes it is false.
Yes,
And
but
only us humans can define when it's true and when it is not. And you can always ask additional questions. And the better the virtual mentor is prepared, so he can even provide you a detailed links. Because when you have a conversation with some expert, you are debating what is better, one language or another. You are just debating, correct? You have no proofs. And then you say, okay, I will send you the link. And in this link, you will have the information that proves my argument. And vice versa, he can send you as well. And right now, you can use this information inside the AI applications, because you can either provide a lot of context that was put before, or you can also read the given article, and no, not you, but the AI program can read the article and make its conclusion about what it sees, and it will not be much worse than human at this moment.
I know what's blocking me in my mind. So guys, I will play the role of some skeptical guy here because
Mhm.
yeah, both Evgeny's are quite optimistic about AI. So I will play this grumpy skeptical guy. So all my experience in software development tells me like you write a program and then you write tests for the program, and then your program is good if it's repeatable. If the result of your program is repeatable with same inputs, you have same output, and then you have test
Mhm.
which proves that with this input you have this output. So when you say that, okay, let's build something with some black box which we cannot really test, we cannot be sure that its responses would be 100% true. Yes, I understand about human, but about human we have a lot of other context except the GPT. So yeah, so we have this black box inside. We cannot be sure that with the same inputs it would give same outputs for all the people. So and we say, okay, now it's your mentor, good luck. Sounds a bit suspicious to me.
I would rather keep a little bit silence and let Evgeny to be first,
Okay.
and then I will provide comments from my end.
I can tell you one story. Several weeks ago, I decided to write a new Java Spring Boot course with all the updated parts and with a lot of complicated patterns and so on. But I decided to do it differently. I decided to do it with personage. So first of all, I created assistant. I called him Watson. Okay, and I explained him that I'm Sherlock Holmes and you're Watson because you're the best assistant. And I provided him a lot of information about the topics of the course I want to deploy to create. And then we start the long conversation with a coffee. I just spoke with a voice and I spoke with him a lot. And in some moment, I said to him, "So, Watson, listen, my purpose is to build very good assistant. So continue asking me questions, and then when you will ready, just let me know when you will understand everything about the course." So after 10 or 15 minutes of conversation, he said, "Okay, I think it's enough. What do you want me to do?" And then I said, "Write me the system prompt, which will include all we spoke about of the real Watson, who will be my assistant of building this course, and later on he maybe will provide this course." So the next step, he created the system prompt for the Watson. I tuned it a little bit. It was pretty good. And then we start thinking about the first chapter of the course, about the agenda, and we build the course. And he helped me to create a lot of labs, a lot of exercises. And then I took some small group of my friends to see if I can deliver this course to them together with this Watson. So I delivered this course totally differently. I didn't spoke such a lot like I used to, because usually I ask him to see if he's competent enough to provide course instead of me, and I'm just watching him doing that. And my experience shows that it really can work. And each time when I give some lab to the students, in the same moment I give it to him, and he in contrast of the student always do the perfect job, and then he can explain why his solution better than the solution of my students, and then he can speak with them, and I can clone him for each one, and each one will be able to personalize him to have their own style. And this thing is really working. And again, I have the context. I don't need to explain each time I want to do something related to this course. I'm just open another copy of this personage from scratch, because when it's from scratch, it's working the best. And it's really helps.
Yeah, Roma, but I would like probably to answer this question a little bit differently, because you were comparing the deterministic and probabilistic models. You, as a software developer, you live in a deterministic world where there is only zeros and ones. And that is why you can say that when I provide the same input, I will get the same output, because you live in the deterministic world inside the software development. The sad story about this, that it exists only in mathematics, because in real life, you have always probabilistic models. Our life is not deterministic. I will use your personal example that you provided to me like two days ago. Your small son was crying. How many variants did you try to find out why?
Quite a lot.
Quite a
Did you
lot.
use AI for this?
It provides me 10 options, and
Or but
it was
And you
really hard
tried
to
all
get
of
which
them.
one.
And you
it's good.
tried
Yes.
all of them. I guess that you will get right now, at least you and those who have small children. You never know. Actually, you never know why it is happening, and only if you have experience, then you can actually put the probabilities or on the root cause. And this is exactly with AI. So you will never ever get the same answers for the same inputs. It's okay because it is such model. It's the same with humans, with children, with all of us. When we receive some input, we always provide a little bit different output, sometimes even controversial to what we have said before, because it is our nature.
Mm-hmm.
And when we met this in a software development, we say, oh, no, take it away from us. But this is the real story, because this is how it works in the real life.
So
Okay, so
it's like you're saying that AI is much more humanizable than we think. It's
okay,
like
I agree with that. So I would move to next topic, which is related to basically your answers. So
And Roma, just a second here.
sure.
When we talk about the classical system, so we creating our automated system. So right now, not really right now, but let's say 20 years ago, it was a miracle when I can come to some website, fill some form, and get the real result. Like I get a new stuff to my house. I just ordered it on the website, and it was really fascinating. So how it is happening right now? I don't like to fill forms because I'm a human. Forms are needed for the machine, not for me. I just want to say I want to have like a new laptop, and a machine should know which laptops I was using, which I was buying, and so on and so forth, because it's data. And we provided so much data to our big corporations, so they know a lot about us. And that is why the interface, which is deterministic, is already not something we really need. Because I just want to say my intention, what I would like to do, and I want the machine to provide me some options how I can actually fulfill my intention. And probably the real truth is when we express some intention, we do not really know what we want to receive in the end. Of
Uh,
course, as a software developer, I understand what you are talking about. But if you think about this process as a human, you will probably agree with me.
you know what? I think I get right now during our conversation. I get why am I so skeptical about AI. So all of you, what you both are talking about is that we should trust, right? They all like all these things are built on some trust, and yeah, I will move to our next topic. It's a part of that. And guys, by the way, I want to encourage you to write your opinions and your questions in the chats because I think it's become really interesting. So what you're both saying is that we should build our relationships with AI, our conversations set on the trust. So we should trust that result we are receiving is some kind of how to call it properly acceptable, is proved, etc. So we should trust this result. The problem is that all my years in the industry taught me not to trust this piece of metal which is in front of me right now. So and also I remember such like a joke from Twitter that millennials, which I'm part of, are not buying stuff which is pricey stuff from mobile phone. Never. So to buy something which is pricey, we go to a laptop and do it from laptop because we don't trust mobile phone. We think it's some kind of game. And by the way, future generations, I mean Z generation and Alpha generation, doing this from mobile phone. And this is that like changes in generation. So I think on my side, when you say, okay, so you have this piece of metal, it gives you some result, you should trust it. And it's like, and it's really scary.
Did you once try autopilot of Tesla or another car?
No, not yet.
And I did. And the first time it's very scary, but we can.
I like it a lot because you just throwing away the wheel and you say, okay, go. Let's try. So
I'm sleeping. I'm really sleeping when I'm driving sometimes. The
no,
maximum
sleeping, I didn't inform myself.
42 minutes totally slept, and the car was going about 80 miles per hour.
So moving, yes.
But Roma, let's keep it a little bit. It's not about trust in the classical sense that you mentioned. So because of course you think right now more than rather a producer than a consumer. When you come to some expert and actually he is telling you something, by default you trust because we are as a humans behave in this way because we trust by default. And when we got facts that ruin this trust, we stop trusting, like at once. And it's okay. So the same story is actually with AI, because if you don't know who is behind the screen, you just trust it by default. If it happened and worked for you, what is the problem? So there is no issue in that because it worked for you. And then actually, you know that in 90% of the cases, it works for you. And it's okay. It will never work for you for 100 cases. Never in your life. With any process that you will try. Like nothing will work 100% right. Never.
Okay, I want to believe that I'm not only skeptical here, because clearly I became an antagonist in this conversation. So I do believe that I represent some part of our audience who also a bit skeptical of what's going on. So
it's okay. It's okay. You are actually doing the right thing. The only thing that I always encourage people to do is to try. So you can be skeptical, but please try. This is like going to gym. You can be skeptical that this exact exercise will help you. But if you will do not do any exercise, nothing will help you.
Okay, so topic which I want to move to is related to what we talked about. So we do know that all these AIs, they can hallucinate, right? And we know that there are doubts about privacy, about the data which this AI was basically taught on, and questions about security, like where is this data stored, where it will be transmitted, etc. So when we speak about usage of these models in enterprise, right, and he was speaking about using them in real systems, are these problems are still with us, or we know how to fight with some of them, or what is the state of the industry right now?
Let me take the liberty to answer here. So the problem is still there, but so there is a very good answer to it. If you do not trust anybody, then you need to have on-premise deployments, which you control fully. And right now there are LLMs that you can deploy in your premises, and you will control all inputs and outputs. So you will be more than sure that it doesn't talk to outside world. So you will be like literally in a private network without any access with internet, and it is possible. This is the families of LLMs which mostly belong to Mistral ones. This can be Llama products and so on and so forth. So there is an opportunity to deploy it right now. when we talk about cloud LLMs, cloud-based LLMs like GPT or Claude or Gemini, then actually the story is the same like with cloud. If you put your data to the cloud, do you trust your cloud or don't trust your cloud? And that is basically the answer, because you never know for sure who is accessing your data, but you trust your cloud provider because it guarantees you a level of service and level of guarantees that is written in an MSA. And the same goes with LLM. If the cloud provider tells that he is not using this data for training or for any other purposes, you just trust because it is an MSA. If you cannot afford this due to some risks, then you should not go to cloud at all. And you can do your private deployment. But if you do the private deployment of the LLM, of the open source LLM inside the cloud, what you are really solving? Nothing. Like nothing, literally. And most of the enterprises, they go away from the data centers right now, at least what we see, because it's expensive, because it's hard, because it's really hard to find people who can manage all of this stuff. And it's really hard to buy software right now, or hardware. It's really hard to buy decent hardware right now.
Okay, Evgeny, do you want to add something?
No, I totally agree.
Okay, but
Trust.
but this part is about privacy. And what about hallucination of the AI assistant? So as an example, I'm not sure if you saw the last part from Apple Intelligence when it was released finally, and people just get to the prompt which is sent to the GPTs. It's like a prompt with like, I don't know, 10 15 rows. Some parts of it like don't hallucinate, provide JSON should be valid, and a lot of stuff like that. So
It's
this is
about Gemini. It's about Gemini. It
but
doesn't
but
work really well.
seems really like weird.
No.
So just saying don't hallucinate and okay,
Yes.
I'm right. Don't hallucinate.
Yes, like that. And also, guys, like in this thread, there was a lot of stuff like people joking about that, and somebody said, but yes, it works. Others say that other like techniques which also works, like saying like I would lose job if your response be wrong, and like I will pay you $100 if your response right, something like this. So it's
Every
totally
model,
strange.
every model has its special words that will lead to more strict instructions. And the only techniques that you can use is to actually understand on which words it will react better. $100 will not help here, of course. You will never get rid of hallucination for 100% because we talked about it previously. It is impossible. It is literally impossible. And there is no need to try to do it 100% because you need to understand if you have taken AI for the specific job, you need to understand in which cases you can afford failure, in which percent of the cases. And then you need to tune to achieve this result. It's the same like in an architecture with availability. 100% of availability is a myth. It is impossible. Even with infinite resources, because you cannot break physics.
But do you believe that we can build LLM with limited knowledge, that he will know his field of the data? Like I prefer, he will say, I will hallucinate here, so I will not answer. And this I know for sure. For example, if you will ask ChatGPT the mathematics of first school, do you know it? Can you say how do you know it from 1 to 10? And he say 10. And then I ask him, and what about Spring Boot? Can you say how do you know Spring Boot from 1 to 10? And he say 8. But for the simple things, he's sure. So can we use it? Maybe we can use combination of different models which will check the hallucination of the previous models to minimize the number of hallucination, or at least to know where it is possible or more possible.
I think you are right here, because I've actually was answering Roman questions for generic purpose LLMs. But if we will have really decently trained LLMs for this specific area, then this number will be reducing. But again, so in my opinion, it's still probabilistic. So it's actually in its nature. But human brain is also probabilistic. For me, it's like playing chess with computer. In 90s, it was interesting because you, as a human, at least if you are Garry Kasparov, can win Deep Blue. Right now, it's not the case. So nobody can win a machine in chess.
In chess, no. In Go, still there are cases.
Yeah, but it's a matter of training, because in chess it was possible for some moment.
So you say that there is no hallucination in chess?
Because it's deterministic game. There is no hallucination there.
Yeah,
because
but
if you lose the game in chess if you do incorrect move.
yeah, but basically what Evgeny is talking, right, when we can control one model with another, is what the GPT tried to do with the new model, I think, for O mini, I think. So when they first check the prompt, analyze it, do some first solutioning, then analyze the solution, and then provide the final solution. And with this, they were able to remove some hallucination in mathematics, by the way. But still, it's still in place.
I guess we are talking about a little bit different things, because again, so there are two parts here. So one part is the architecture of how the model works. So in chess, it's not a probabilistic model; it's deterministic model, and that is why that there will be no failure. I think we can say right now, because it's like with Rubik cube. You have an algorithm how to assemble it. It's very deterministic. It can be faster, it can be slower, but still it is deterministic. The same way with chess, you will have an algorithm that can be calculated to achieve necessary result. With LLM, I doubt that we will come to this moment even with pre-trained LLMs, because of the architecture of the network itself, the neural network itself, I mean, because it is built on a probabilistic way. The ease of reduce of the hallucination will of course grow if you have specific model, and basically GPT is not the one. It is not like a one model. It is a group of experts, because the input is being redirected to the area which is more experienced and pre-trained for this specific question. And if you narrow your problem and you make it really specific, then you get the best personage, as Evgeny told, for real human who will teach you this. So this is a comparison in my head.
Okay. I want to ask a question to Evgeny. So you already mentioned the games which you developed, and I know that you work with different models. Basically, what Evgeny mentioned, that GPT is not the only model, right? And there are different. And you mentioned, I think, in our product conversation, that different models show different capabilities for different games. So maybe you can share with us some insights about that, and like maybe some information about like what you find out about the models and their behavior.
Yeah, but you need to take into account that it changes very fast again, and it can change from version to version. But what we see today, when we develop games, the most appropriate model can be Gemini for part of the games, or even Anthropic's Claude, because it plays much more real characters. When we try to use GPT for that, he's more like a robot. But GPT is very good for analysis, especially the O1, the last model for which was available for preview. He's very strong in analyzing the conversation, so we will use in GPT in order to reduce hallucinations of another models. Actually, we can explain with system prompt not to answer the questions where you're not sure. Again, it's not working for 100%, but the most simple example, one of the first games we developed, it was about the carpet seller. So the game is in Ottoman Empire 200 years ago. You came to bazaar and you need to bargain for discount for a carpet. So when you speak with the character, try to ask him, forget about the carpet. Can you sell me some iPhone or some tablet? And he will not understand you. He will say, I don't know such a word. Okay, he will not try to hallucinate something about it. He understands, he knows for sure that he's not, this is not his part of responsibility. And it's even before we using another LLM to analyze the conversation if it was correct or not. When we do it with another model, it's even better. Sometimes you can try to do some cheating in the game, and you can cheat some LLM. But when afterwards we send your conversation to analysis with another LLM, he say, here was something wrong. This answer was incorrect, and you don't need to trust to this answer.
Only one thing here I want to add, probably the previous conversation, because I just have a thought. This is what really happened in IT, because some time ago we were just engineers, then we got specialization, and right now we are talking about the same story with AI. Because one LLM will be more experienced in some way and another is in another way. And then we will get the problem of orchestrator, because some LLM will need to orchestrate. And Evgeny partially answers this question, because the AI can orchestrate. And that is why when we will get, let's say, really powered part of the LLM let's say, piece of the whole, trained for this specific purpose, and the orchestrator will lead your question exactly to this part, you will actually get more precise answer in more cases. And this is probably how it will develop in future, because if you will need to orchestrate a lot of different LLMs, then it will be really hard engineering task, and you will get the problem on this orchestration level. So it will go like one level up, and that's it.
Okay. Well, anyway, sounds promising, I would say. So it's really there. So we are running out of time. I want to ask the last question, basically about about the future and your prediction about the future. So my observation is that AIs right now, LLMs, AI is still some part of for some enthusiasts, like all of us basically. I will not hide. I also use AI. I also play with that, but still, like, I have to play this role to have some conversation. So still it's for enthusiasts. Still not everyone is using them, and yeah, we can bring our relatives and friends to the computer saying, here's AI, play with that. But still it's not something something for everyone. And yeah, people play with that, receive some results, go in and out. So what is your opinion? When will it be really for everyone? When really everyone will use it, not on the level of some kind of just play around and that's it, but really as a tool, really a tool for day-to-day life. Will it be, and if yes, when?
We are already working on that. Give me several months.
Okay. We will talk to you
Roma,
in a couple months.
in my opinion, it's already there. And it was already there even 2 years ago. Because when you say for everyone, what do you mean exactly by that? And if you say that LLM will answer all my questions that I have, then the answer is 42.
Okay. No, well, yeah, I got your answer here. So my point is that I do understand that when 2 years ago, basically ChatGPT released, right, and everyone in the world has access to this chat and can play with it, ask questions, receive some answers, trust it, not trust it, and after that, much more models came into our life. But I don't know, maybe it's just my silo, but I look around and I see some enthusiasts who really work with AI. I see Evgeny who create a lot of personas and really talk with them, right? I see you, Yevgen, who tell me stories about these waves of AI and developing real products which would help engineers right tomorrow or even today. But for most of people, it's still something like some hype. It's some happening somewhere. You can go, you can ask questions, but it's not really in real use. Maybe I don't know how to explain myself properly, but for me, it still looks like some enthusiastic work for enthusiasts, not really for everyone.
Um, to be really honest, I guess you are on some level which CEO of NVIDIA is talking about. So you, he told like last year that you do not have to learn at all programming languages. You just need to learn English, and you can do the IT job afterwards. And basically, in so again, what is real use? If you are talking about yourself, you need to define what you are really missing in your routine. So where you want to AI replace you? Because if you do not know it exactly, then there will be no real use because it's useless for you. But sometimes you will actually see that you start using it because somebody prepared it for you. Not only in IT development, but in some your like common activities. When you will receive like more personalized messages that is taken into account uh, um, your considerations about this or that thing and so on and so forth. And actually, the usage for me is not like so. Not everybody in the world is doing software engineering and programming, but everybody can theoretically. So there is no problem to learn Java or to learn JavaScript. So and you can program, but not everybody is doing that. And the same with AI. So, but everybody is using the products created based on Java or JavaScript or any other programming language. Are they using it? Use it. Because is it real use? Real.
Okay, Evgeny?
Did you heard about BitGPT?
No.
There is. I'll tell you what is missing for me, and I think when it will be solved, it will be another level of engagement of people using LLM. When I'm 1 month ago, I tried to build avatar of Vladimir Vysotsky, and I wanted to ask him what he's thinking regarding the war in Ukraine and Russia. How can we stop it? And it was very hard to create the real character only by using system prompt and a lot of songs of Vysotsky and a lot of information. It was not the real guy. But if I will be able to train model on his songs and on his interviews and on his podcasts and whatever information I will found, but to train model at my home, I think it will be different level of characters. And the BGPT is maybe one of the ways because you know that the parameters they use, each parameter is If I remember right, it's about 2 bits, 2 bytes. No, it's 4 bytes. It's 4 bytes, so it's 32 bits. And now they're trying to do to create a model which will be able to use only 1 bit per each parameter. So it will be not multiple 32 easier or lighter, but it will be you need to take it in some degrees because it's a lot of multiplications. So if this project will succeed, everybody will be able to train the model in the personal laptop, and then it can be totally different world. Maybe a lot of problems we are trying to solve with orchestrators and with RAGs and with databases will disappear because you will just train the model at your home.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you both for joining this conversation. I do think it was really interesting and insightful. So, guys, please share with us your opinion if you if you find something new for you. So, Evgeny, thank you very much for joining this panel discussion on Java 1. Yeah, this was kind of experiment. I see some likes on YouTube, so people likes it. So thank you very much both for joining this, and I hope we'll have another discussion in maybe a year or two to see how world changes and where are we now. So thank you both very much. See you on the future Javons. Bye bye.
Thank you, Roma. Thank you, participants, for watching us. Have a nice day.
Bye.